Tonight on the Kudlow Report. Look, instead of the Federal Reserve controlling pay at 5,000 banks, a subject they know absolutely nothing about, why not make the $100 million man, oil trader Andrew Hall, the Citigroup CEO? He knows how to make money. The Fed should stick to restoring King Dollar. And the stock market rally that everyone loves to hate. It's the greatest story never told, and it ain't over yet. Plus, the tax man cometh. Higher taxes are coming, folks. Are you prepared? We'll tell you what to do about it. And how to save California. Last evening, I spoke to California gubernatorial candidate Meg Whitman. Tonight, it's equal time for her challenger, State Insurance Commissioner Steve Poizner, who joins us for an exclusive interview. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody. The Kudlow Report begins right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kudlow. Welcome back to the Kudlow Report, where we believe free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity. Government gone wild. President Obama already has a pay czar to keep a big brother eye over compensation at companies that have accepted taxpayer money. But now the Fed wants to curb pay at 5,000 banks. CNBC's Mary Thompson has the details. Hello, Mary.
Well, Larry, the plan under consideration would impact employees well beyond the financial industry's executive suites. While Fed sources say it doesn't want to limit pay, it obviously wants some control over it. Outsized pay is seen as contributing to the risk-taking that fueled the financial crisis, so people close to the Fed say it's within its authority as a regulator to monitor pay if it threatens a bank's safety and soundness. Now, the Fed's proposals would impact pay of senior management as well as those taking or creating substantial risk for their firms, people like traders with big position limits. At the heart of the Fed's pay proposals, cutting short-term incentives, this by giving bonuses based on a couple of years' performance, not one, by deferring payments and maybe using clawbacks, and reducing bonuses based on short-term performance. Also, the Fed wants bonuses given on a risk-adjusted basis when the companies have a method for measuring that risk. Those close to the central bank say the Fed wants the biggest banks to use these principles to design their own pay plans. The Fed would then have the power to veto those pay plans, and if it doesn't, the plans would be monitored through on-site regulators. Now, these proposals have to be put to the Fed's board. The Fed's board will then vote on it, and then it will be open to public comment. The earliest expectations when these would be implemented at the end of this year. Larry, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mary Thompson. Great rundown. Now, Citigroup's Vikram Pandit says $100 million is too much for any bank employee to earn in a year. The administration says it plans to make some major changes to corporate compensation. Well, here to debate all that is Peter Marisi of the University of Maryland and a former chief economist for the International Trade Commission, and CNBC contributor and syndicated columnist Jerry Bowyer. Gentlemen, hang on. Sit tight for 1 second. Before we get your take, I want to once again turn to the Kudlow Caucus on this subject. We put this very question to our regulars. I asked the caucus, is $100 million too much pay for a banker? Well, here's what they said. Out of our 12 members, 6 said yes, and 6 said no, an even tie. Here is the yes camp, and here's who said no. They're the yes boys, and here come the no boys, boys and girls, I beg your pardon. Now, to see why each member voted the way they did, and to cast your own vote, please head over to kudlow.cnbc.com. Now, folks, how about this picture of your humble anchor, okay? Humble anchor. I am going to break the 6-6 tie, because I get 10 votes. And my logic is simple. Just say no to class warfare, income redistribution, pay curves by government. And as for Andrew Hall, the $100 million man, he made a couple of $1 billion for Citibank, and he got a 5% commission for that $100 million bucks. He is a hero. On the other hand, our friend Vic Pandit, who's a good guy, but nonetheless, Vic Pandit sold his old hedge fund to Citigroup for a huge amount of money, and then it went under. So what's wrong with this picture? I think Mr. Hall, the $100 million man, should be running Citigroup. He knows how to make money. Whoa. Jerry Bowyer, yeah. I saw you in the no group. My congratulations.
Thank you.
$100 million bucks. What is wrong with this whole story?
Well, what's wrong with this whole story is that You know, taxes are going up, we're nationalizing industries, and now we're going to have executive pay caps. I mean, throw the hollandaise sauce on us. We're France at the rate we're going. And by the way, this idea is coming from Sarkozy. So, you know, I do not want a Western European-style social democracy. That is anti-growth, it's anti-capitalistic, it's un-American, it violates property rights, and it violates the sanctity of contract.
And Peter Morici, on top of all the things Jerry Bowyer just laid on you, my good friend Peter Morici, I do not see any evidence of a link between compensation and excessive risk-taking. Now, I agree there was excessive risk-taking. We'll get to that in a moment. But I do not see any link. And you know what? Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and Merrill Lynch, the old securities brokerage firms, all have long-term stock ownership plans, and they still went nuts on risk-taking. Peter, what's your response?
Well, quite simply, we incentivized traders and folks that wrote swaps and so forth by paying them on the basis of volume to take high risk. They didn't pay much attention to the quality of loans. Instead, they just bundled the mortgages into bonds without regard as to whether they were safe. And now, it isn't like the free market works. We have to bail these guys out.
No, we don't.
Well,
no,
we just did.
Yeah, but we don't have to.
Look, you had your turn. You had your turn. Let me have mine. The bottom line is I live in a world where the federal government does bail them out, and they do it by giving them low-interest loans, so Grandma gets lousy interest on her CDs. Heck, we're taxing Grandma to subsidize Goldman Sachs. That's absolute madness.
All right, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me just jump in before Jared comes in. Peter, you're making some good points about excessive risk-taking. Now, first of all, let me concede to you the unfortunate proliferation of TARP money, unfortunately, most regrettably, anti-capitalistically,